decided you wanted to become an MLB player?
So, I think pretty much from the time I saw my first Cincinnati Reds game, I think I literally just spent all the time trying to become a major league player. So I was probably 2 or 3 years old, and I played other sports too. But for me, there was nothing else. Like all I wanted to do was play in the big leagues, and I remember the first time I got there, it just kind of all hits you at once, and it was a pretty special moment.
Let's say it's a tie game, bottom of the ninth. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, 3-2. It's all up to you. Do you think the crowd helps you or stresses you out?
Well, I'd like to think that neither, but when you're playing at home, it's hard not to get affected by it because that home team just wants you to get it done so well. And I remember having a couple really big at-bats this past year where I came up in spots like that, and it's hard not to feed off of the moment, if that makes sense. Like you really just want to get fired up, but most importantly, you want to do it for your teammates. And when you do come through, it's about as good of a feeling as there is.
Wow, you're used to interviews. What's it like when 100-mile fastball comes right at you?
You know what? It's pretty scary, but I think that after a while you start to get used to it, and you start to realize that very rarely does it hit you, and most of the time they're not doing it on purpose. So if you do have one that comes high and tight, most of the time it's not going to happen again. Usually they either make the adjustment or they go to a slider and try and make you look foolish on it.
Or they just throw them out of the game.
Yeah, or sometimes if they think it's intentional, they will. Luckily, I haven't been a part of that yet, but everybody has seen those like really funny moments where guys are getting into altercations and things like that. Luckily, I haven't been a part of it because it is dangerous. I mean, when 100 miles an hour is coming at you, it is dangerous.
How old were you when you hit your first home run?
My first home run in the major leagues was in 2016, so I would have been 25 years old. Ever?
Yeah.
Like, not like on a wiffle ball field or anything, right? Like, like actually playing. I was probably 7 years old. 7 years old playing for Swan Florist. You ever heard of them before? No, I don't think you had. Swan Florist. I think I remember it. I hit it right down the right field line, and I think the right fielder was like picking dandelions or something. He wasn't paying attention, so I just kept running.
So inside the field home run.
Yeah. Oh boy.
What's the craziest thing a fan has ever done to you? Or you've heard of?
You know what? Every single day something happens where I think if my friends that I went to high school with, I think if they were in my shoes, they would think you got to be kidding me. Like they would say it's the funniest thing they've ever seen, and it literally happens every day. Something like that happens every day. I'm trying to remember exactly which one. I think that there was a couple times when I was in the minor leagues where there were fans that just were, you could tell they were kind of trying to be silly, but they weren't really being funny. And so it was like a right fielder or a left fielder, I can't remember which one, and they started having conversations with them during the game. Yeah, and it went on for 6 or 7 innings. So I wasn't playing that day, and I'm just watching this kid out there in left field talk to this fan for 6 innings, and I don't know. I thought it was a nice break from the regular monotony. Let's put it that way.
And this one's mainly for the kids at the IWK.
Okay.
When you're having a bad day, or let's say you have an injury, or you're hurt, or you're in pain, what do you do to make yourself feel better?
I think that when you have something that's going on, the biggest thing is to meet it head on, and you don't want to make something be prolonged if it doesn't have to be. Does that make sense? So if there's a way, if my knee starts to bother me and I can get in and I can take care of it right away and I have the power to do it, then that's what I want to do. I don't want to, I'll figure it out later, and because then it starts to add up, and then something might actually go wrong. So whenever we have something going on, whenever we're not feeling right, the best thing is to just meet it head on, get it over with, do what you have to do, and hopefully it starts feeling better. I have a question for you. Who is your all-time favorite journalist?
Journal.
Yeah, who was like if there was one guy that you wanted to base your questions around, like if you wanted to be somebody who's in this field, who would it be?
Oh, probably a player.
You want to be a player?
Yeah.
Who? I know the answer.
Yeah. Kevin Paul.
So you'd rather be a player?
Yeah.
You sure?
100%.
All right. It's tough to argue with that. You're a pretty good interviewer, man. You're making me sweat right now.
And that last thing about the feeling better, that's a great tip for me leaving my homework till Sunday night.
That's well said.
Thanks everyone for watching Child Life TV with Luke Maile, catcher of the Blue Jays.
Always fun coming out here. Always fun hanging out. And just wish everybody the best. And thanks for going easy on me today.
You're lucky today.